I'm Dan Ramey, and he is
Mike Smith in God's country.
Yeah, you bet your sweet bippy, as they used to say on the old Laugh-In show. We are deep in the heart of western Pike County here this evening. Now, of course, I usually come here anyway, because I live down here.
You live down this way.
But Mike, it was interesting. It was like Lewis and Clark were traveling through southern Ohio, and he found his way here right behind me. But we're here tonight because, as you can see, the class of 2021 is going to be unmasked. You say I was Pete Dunn? I did that? Okay, Pete Dunn came up with that neat little message you see right there. We were hired last year to capture and make a keepsake for the kids that graduated in the class of 2020. And they liked it, and they invited us back.
How about that?
So
means you must have done something right.
Here we are. Let's hope they're not disappointed this year.
Well, I would be the one to blame because I'm new. Yeah.
That's true. We do have a new
fall guy.
Yeah, that's what we'll call him anyway.
Yeah.
But we are here for commencement, which will take place this evening at 7 o'clock, and we'll be visiting with Brock Brewster. He is the superintendent of Western Local Schools here in just a matter of moments. But first, we want to tell you that we are brought to you by our friends at Classic Brands Chillicothe, Classic Brands Albany, also Ross Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau, Rathcam Financial Services, as well as McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that reminds me, I've got a prop I have to go out and get while you're talking to Brock, so
okay.
I'll go do that here in just a moment. But also Hometown Motors Incorporated, and am I forgetting somebody? How about Atomic Speedway?
Hey, big race last night.
It was a big race. Congratulations to Kyle Larson. We'll take a look at some of the results and on that for you here in just a matter of moments. But first, before we get into what's making news today on littermedia.com, we're going to step aside and let the superintendent take over and let the news guy talk with him. So,
Brock Brewster,
ready, Brock?
Come on down. I don't have the cash or anything like that like Johnny Olson used to have, but
I never get in the mood to play basketball, but hearing you two on the air, kind of gets me almost want to go grab a basketball and go shoot a little bit.
I was trying to, when I walked in, this may be one of the first times I've seen Brock in many, many moons, probably at the church, at a revival meeting, or many moons back, watching him play basketball. But superintendent and Brock, coming out of the last year and a half, we've been chatting here a little bit about what this has meant to the community. And how has Western School District mustered through all of this?
Well, when we came out of last spring, we really had no idea how long this was going to last. We were in the same boat as everybody else. But what we decided was that no matter what, we were going to do what was best for kids. And we were going to design everything with them in mind. And so last spring, we fed all the kids. We have a lot of kids that depend on us for hot meals and for breakfast and lunch. So we set up last spring with about 1,000 hot meals a week and a lot of boxed food. So we started out that way, and I had a lot of staff members willing to help. And so we decided then that was going to be our focus. And then we started planning, not knowing if we would have school at all, but we started planning on how are we going to have school for these kids, how are we going to feed them, how are we going to educate them. And so we worked all summer and got a good plan together, and we're combating, you may ask us later, but combating the fact that we don't have great internet service and great phone service. So those things were some logistical issues that we had to solve. And so that was kind of our focus, but our school has done very, very well. Kids have done great, and I can't brag on them enough.
You brought up internet, and didn't mean to turn this into a news story, but we want to talk to somebody with boots on the ground that will know, because politicians with this new broadband bill that passed can promise the moon and the stars, but someone that's down here, do you really believe it'll help?
Well, I mean, when we get these offers from all the cable companies and, and all that, and it sounds great, and it's not to knock them at all, but they say, we'll help you pay for internet. We'll help you pay the bill. It's fine to help pay the bill, but if there's no line running to your house, there is no internet. So we have less, based on a survey, we have less than 35% of our kids with access to high-speed internet. And what we found was a lot of kids that thought they had high-speed internet, it wasn't as high-speed enough to do some of the things they need to do. And also, even fewer have unlimited data. People forget about how important unlimited data is. When you're watching YouTube videos for math videos, and you're watching things for class and you're uploading things, data gets eaten up very fast, and for a family of 5. And so that was something that we struggled with, was how in the world are we going to do this remotely? And so we made it happen the best we could. But, yeah, with internet access like it is here, it makes it tough. But the politicians, they have good intentions, but getting the lines run to houses and the tech support, all that, it's tough. So it's easy to say, and I do believe they have good intentions, but I know when it comes right down to getting the wires ran into the houses, that's what really matters, and that's what we've not seen.
Going back to the education experience during something that this world has probably not seen in a century, do you think that the students understand the historic significance that they are going to live through something that has happened maybe once every other century?
You know, I don't think it's possible for kids this age. I talk to the seniors every year. I'm the superintendent, but I've been giving this speech for 14 years, and they just kind of let me keep on talking to them like I'm the principal. You know, I kind of enjoy that part. I give the graduation, the Be Good at Graduation speech every year, and I reminded them about how important tonight is, and about the memories. They don't see the significance in taking pictures, and in buying a yearbook, and in all those things, and enjoying the last few weeks of high school, because they're too young to realize how much that will mean 20 years down the road. So I know they know they've been through something inconvenient and trying, but I don't think that they are mature enough to really grasp what they have really faced and came through. I mean, that's what and I wish they could right now, because they would be more proud of themselves than they are. I'm extremely proud of these kids, because I do know what they've been through. I know how it could have gone.
Right.
I know how they could have acted, but they didn't. They were appreciative and supportive, and their parents were wonderful, and they didn't gripe and complain and bellyache about what they've lost. And so they recognize how to handle it, but I don't think they recognize how significant it's really been.
So you think in some ways we talk about the youth of today. I mean, if you look back, they've been saying that for decades. But do you think that they had to grow up faster than maybe they otherwise would have?
Yes, because our kids here have to overcome and I put this in my speech tonight for this class. Our kids have been overcoming barriers their whole lives. Socioeconomic and all those things, and barriers within their families, and the drug addiction that we have in our area. And so they've been overcoming their whole lives. This was just another obstacle that we all, as a school, and as a staff, and as a community, decided we were going to get through, just like other things. And so they've weathered the storm, and they've kept a great attitude, and we tried to make this year as normal as possible. But these kids are gritty and tough. They don't know that they're gritty and tough. We know they are.
Right.
They don't really recognize that it takes grit and toughness to be raised up in our area and be successful. And they have that. Sometimes they just don't realize it, as quickly as we would like for them to.
And I personally know many people that have grown up in this area and have gone on and had great careers in various businesses and making themselves almost like a self-made person.
Yep. And that's something our kids, we've had a lot of kids I started teaching in 1999 here, and we've had a lot of kids that have gone on to successful careers, and we had lawyers and doctors. Those are the ones that get talked about. All those doctors and lawyers everyone talks about, and there's a great reason for that. But we've had veterinarians and physical therapists, business owners, builders. Oh yeah. And that have been very successful and have not only made a lot of money, but have given back to this community. We have a couple. I'm going to mention it. Tip Long and Chad Jordan. Chad didn't graduate from here, but they have donated so much to us for our kids. They have grown up in Southern Ohio and have been highly successful and have recognized that people help them. One thing that I remember when we went to regionals in 2016 that Rocky Lambert had talked about was Coach Thompson had told the kids, listen, people are going to be giving you stuff. They're going to want to help you. The old guys around are going to want to help you. He said, and Hecky Thompson told him, hey, so accept it, thank them, and realize how important this is, what you're going through. He said, show them you appreciate it. Ed Beekman down at the carry out. He would give the kids money to eat on and stuff like that. So that's something that, and through my whole life growing up here, the old guys around, the people around have always wanted to help the next generation. That's something I'm really proud of, and we have that happening right now, and we have a lot of people who have graduated in the past 25 or 30 years and even further back that are happy to help these kids succeed.
Lastly, it's graduation night. How many are graduating?
Kids, 60 students, and this is about probably bigger than the average. I think I was telling Dan the other day, we probably averaged 55 kids over the last 50 years. We probably average around 55 graduates. We've had classes in the low 40s and some in the low 70s. This is probably just a little bit bigger than the average for us.
Mm-hmm. And most of the kids, about the next step, college graduation in the future?
About 20% of our kids will go on to college. One of the big issues that I have with the way we do school now is, they can say what they want to, but everyone is pushed to go to college. But we educate our kids towards going to college knowing only 20% are going to go. It's been that way for the past 30 years. And you know what, that's okay. But I guess the hard thing for me is we know how that's going to go, but there's still such a focus in Ohio on going to college and not nearly enough focus on going to work.
Yep. And
one thing we did this year at our academic banquet for the first time, we have a lot of kids here graduating and that are juniors this year that work 25, 30, 40 hours a week. They help support their families. They help buy stuff for their families. They buy their own car. And so we gave out awards this year at the academic banquet. I don't know what they called them, but it was recognizing the students who have basically worked nearly full-time and came to school and had good attendance and worked hard and graduated, because that's something we don't place nearly enough emphasis on. And that's something we're really proud of, because that's tough. It's tough to be a kid these days, let alone being a kid working in Waverly. You're at Chillicothe and getting home at 11 o'clock at night and being here at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
And so that's something we really want to recognize those kids. And that's something that I really think that there should be more of a focus on, and we're trying to do some planning next year where we help our kids get better connected with a future that's a reality for them.
Brock, thanks. Great job. And thanks for the invitation to be here tonight.
Sure. We appreciate having you guys. Thank you very much.
Again, Superintendent of the Western School District, Mr. Brock Brewster. And we are in their home tonight here at Western High School for their 2021 graduation ceremony. And it's a beautiful facility. I can remember the old gym many years back and how things have changed over time. But I still refer to it as the new gym, but we were joking with Brock, Dan, on the way in. People still call it the new facility, but it's been here almost 20 years now.
Yeah, hard to believe.
But they've done a great job taking care of it.
Yeah, Dan Jr. was in the 8th grade when the old school was brought down. And so he came here for a couple of years and went on to Vern Rife, which is now Pike County CTC. And so we've had a bit of history in the new portion of this and you're right, it's hard to believe it's been 20 years. So yeah, that's part of how it is. You start out young, and then next thing you know, you got gray hair or no hair.
No hair at all. Right.
So yeah, I was in the principal's office, by the way.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thank you, Carrie Gast. She was doing what she could to make sure that we had audio here this evening. So we are coming to you from Latham, Ohio. Actually, West Latham, because you leave the village limits to come to the campus, kind of like Adena at Frankfort.
Yeah.
It's almost the same distance.
City, what am I talking about? Yeah. Village, yeah.
The town.